Hello everybody, welcome back. This will be my first update to Books A to Z or Book A to Z. It's where you read 26 books. Well, you could read over 26 books, that's your business. But they fit into the 26 letters of the alphabet. And I've actually read all 26 of them. I've already read like 41 books this year. And I finished this set and I'm going to start another set like Amanda is doing. Like Amanda finished hers too. Once I finally wrote down everything, I was done. And I think this is how I'm going to do it. Once I finish the A to Z set, I will come back and tell you all 26 books or more that I've read. Because some of the books I read during that initial set that didn't get counted into the 26 because I already had a book in that letter. But we'll start at the top. I read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It was a very short book. It was a very good book. I had never read The Alchemist, but apparently it's supposed to be a movie. I read Bending the Rules by Marie Hart. Between the World and Me by Tinashe Coates. I didn't enjoy Between the World and Me. It just wasn't what I expected it to be. Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich. It's the novel based on the play Dear Evan Hansen. I really enjoyed it. I never saw Dear Evan Hansen. I had no idea what Dear Evan Hansen was about. I wish we would have gotten more of Connor's point of view, but that's not what this was really about. I read an anthology called Black Enough, Stories of Being Young and Black in America. It was curated by E.B. Zaboy. I've read several things with E.B. Zaboy this year. But they were really good stories. I really liked the cowboy story. But it's just about, being teenagers and being black, whether it's romance or school or whatever. I read Training School for Negro Girls by Camille Acker. These were short stories that she wrote. And they were all stories about black women, whether they were, young girls, teenagers, adults. Some of them stories, once you got to the bougie mamas, like, they was crazy. They were absolutely crazy. Like, and the story in there that's where she got the title for this anthology or this collection of short stories. Training School for Negro Girls, like, that was definitely some Get Out type of mess. Like, whoo. I read Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I read Hamilton, the Revolution by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I had the audiobook, and it was orated by Mariska Hargitay. And it was just about the work and behind the scenes of what went into creating Hamilton. And it was really interesting that there was like only 3 songs that he wrote that didn't go into the play. And some of them he reworked. Like in the original iteration, they didn't go into the play, but he reworked them, slow it down, and they went into the play. So like, it was very interesting to see his mindset, what was happening behind the scenes. And this was happening when he was doing In the Heights. So it was just really interesting. And to see how they came to choose the actors for the original, the first run of the initial run of Hamilton, because then I had listened to the Hamilton soundtrack before I got Hamilton the Revolution. I read Bad with Money, The Imperfect Art of Getting Your Financial Ish Together by Gabby Dunn. It had some interesting tidbits, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. It's a money book. It's supposed to be a money book. I thought I was going to get some actual tips in life, but these are things like, let's go talk to Lori 20 years ago type of situation. So I guess it would be good for high schoolers to hear, you know, those before you start college. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I really like this book. It talked about habits, how to make a habit, how a habit starts. Like brushing our teeth is not something we like to do, but it's a habit. So we do it because it's ingrained. It's a habit. And I really enjoyed that. He had a story in there about a man who wanted to start working out. And the man started on this path of, okay, I'll put on the outfit. And then he worked up to, okay, I'm going to the gym. And then he would turn back around when he went to the gym. And then after like a week or two, couple weeks, he decided, well, I'm here. Let me go work out. And it became a habit. He was already there, so let's do the work there. I'm already here. Let's do the work. I'm already here. Let's do the work. And I really like that he broke it down like that. This was a very good habits book, because usually it's like, oh, set a goal, do it. Break your goal down into little pieces. This is, Atomic Habits is, let's start at the basics. Because to make a habit, it has to become natural repetition. And that was just a really interesting way to start. So if you want to work out, put the clothes on. That doesn't mean you have to do it, because he said, like, break it down into like a moment, 1 minute. What can you do in that minute? And then you start doing the habit. You advance through the habit. So I really like that. The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. It was not what I expected it to be. It's supposed to be like a suspense. Maybe it's a thriller. I didn't get any thrill from it. You know, it didn't scare me. It didn't cause any worry or anxiety or anything in me. It was just a very interesting story. Laid Bare by Lauren Dunn. Let's see. The Color of Magic is Discworld Book 1 by Terry Pratchett. No, I don't understand what this man is doing. And it jumps too much for me. And this is coming from somebody who can read books out of order. His world building is very compact. I mean, he just has so much happening. And I don't know how these people transfer from anywhere they went. I don't know how they got from point A to point B, from point B to C, and then how they got back from C to A. I don't know how anybody got there. So I had to let that go. I'm trying to read the computer at the same time. Okay. Then I read The Power by Naomi Alderman. It's about teenage girls acquiring power over their male counterparts and deciding to take over the world. And once you read the book, you realize you did nothing different. You just perpetuated a linear, circular course. You didn't deviate from what the norm is now. but it was a good book. I read Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Pride by E.B. Zaboy. That one is a modern take on Pride and Prejudice, or the basis of Pride and Prejudice, of two different classes coming together, that clash. And it was Black and Dominican character, so as the main character. So it was a really good book. I enjoyed that. I read Quidditch Through the Ages by Kenilworthy Wisp. J.K. Rowling wrote it for Pottermore, but they put it into a book. And it was really interesting because it told me how Quidditch started, and then at the end of it, we got to hear Ginny Potter and Rita Skeeter commentate on the Quidditch Cup. It was just a really interesting additional piece to the Harry Potter world. I read Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Heads of the Colored People by Nafisa Thompson Spires. This one was also a short story collection. It was based on an actual artist who drew or created heads of colored people, who did them in that contemporary times fashions. And Tango Makes Three by Justin Richardson. It's just a short kids book about the two male penguins at the New York City Zoo who get to be fathers to little Tango. The Unwanteds by Lisa McCann. What was The Unwanted? Oh, this is the first book. It's a series. And it's about kids who have powers. They all have different attributes. And it's a dystopian type of world. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible either. But this one, it cleared up too nicely to be a series book. So I don't know if she started it like that and then we were going. It just cleaned up too nice. I read Archie Volume 1, The New Riverdale. This is Archie for the present time by Mark Wade, or Wade, I guess, W-A-I-D. I'm enjoying it. This is what Riverdale on the CW is based on. The Water Cure by Sophie McIntosh. I told you how much I did not enjoy this book. It's supposed to be dystopian, but I don't think it's dystopian. I just think it was a lie. And I don't want to spoil it for other people because I want somebody to talk to me about the ending. What did you think about the ending? Because I was done with the book. I was mad and I was over the whole thing. Then I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I messed it up. But I enjoyed it. It was about a teenage girl who her name was Ziamata, and so she went by X. And she just wrote all her feelings and thoughts in poems, and her artistic endeavors were not appreciated by her mother at all. So there was some strife there, but it was a really good book. I started reading Deadly Class, Volume 1, Reagan Youth by Rick Remender. I started reading it because I wanted to catch Deadly Class on Sci-Fi. I am now behind. I don't know if they have episode 1 on video on demand or if I have to search the depths of the internet to find it. But that's why I started reading that. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And then 1, 2, 3 more books that didn't fit in the original 26. Becoming by Michelle Obama. I really enjoyed that book. It's about her life from her youth to the present. And it's about her thoughts, her feelings, the things she went through, the challenges she faced. I read The Heartbeat of Wounded Knee, Native America from 1890 to the present. It was an interesting book because I'm Native American as well. But I've learned new things. I learned new things. I am not a walking encyclopedia of Native American facts to give you, but this was very interesting, and especially to know that some of the southern tribes actually owned slaves. So that's very interesting, and I would like to research more about that because my great-grandmother is 100% Cherokee, but my people, they're black as well, so I wonder if there was, if it was a free situation or if they were both slaves or, was her family or tribe owning of these people. Like, it's very interesting to me. Then I read We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. This is a dystopian type of thing too. And it's not dystopian in the sense of like Hunger Games. So I guess it's not dystopian. I guess it's not. It's some kind of topian, okay? But it's set in the future, and we go from, where the race is mixed, but we're now in this book, they're going backwards, where mixed race relationships are frowned upon. They segregate groups of people. And they say the police are there to protect them, but it's really to keep them corralled. And it's based on a father trying to protect his son. He wants his son to stay as light as possible. So it's a lot of internal colorism happening as well as external. And it was just a very interesting book. It was a little hard. Some of the thoughts that this man had about himself and his own child. And then it just showed that, you hold these prejudices against yourself and other people, and you end up losing the person you love because you didn't want to let them be. You wanted to turn them into someone else. Okay, so those were the 29 books that I read at that point from January 17th through, I don't know what this is, February 19th, February 20th or so. So those are those books. I will link my Goodreads below so you can follow me, see what I'm doing all the time on Goodreads. I've been reading quite a bit. So, like I said in the beginning, I will be coming back with an update every time I finish the 26 books. And I've started the second list now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love to have you. And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. I want you guys to be safe, be well. Peace.